Powered by Riverside Mechanics.
Heads up, audio adventurers!
Welcome to Human Bubble Podcast, where Plato shares snacks with the weekend and Schopenhauer gets lost in a Spotify playlist. In our freaky studio where cats knocking things over.
We explore the chaos of being human through art, books, music, and philosophy, like a brainy fever dream with good lightnings. Strap in, it's weird, it's wise, and it's probably cheaper than therapy. So tell me, Nasi, how does a railway station, a strange woman, and a footstep echoing through time turns into one of the most unsettling and beautiful experiences you've ever read?
Yeah, dark story, yes. Only Olga Tokarczuk could do that. You know, she writes like the universe is whispering through her. Every page feels like a revelation wrapped in fog.
I think you have read all the books, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, every single one. And
That's a bit.
I'm not ashamed to say that I'm possessed, you know? So,
Mm-hmm.
this episode is my love letter or maybe
Oh,
confession
wow.
about why we must read Tokarczuk and how her newest novel, The Impusium, cracked open something ancient in me. But today we are going to present you guys one short story, The Ugliest Woman in the World, so
Mhm.
Darkster. Are you ready to open the curtain on one of Tokarczuk's most disturbing and exquisite little masterpieces?
Well, The Ugliest Woman in the World, the story isn't really about beauty or ugliness at all. It's about the kind of gaze that turns people into objects and perhaps monsters into mirrors. That's what it is about.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's twisted, it's poetic, uncomfortable in all the right ways. A tale that creeps in quietly, then detonates somewhere deep beneath your moral compass.
Well, we want you, our dear listeners, to present it. Let it haunt you a little. Let it make you ask yourself, what do we really desire? And what are we ashamed of, really? And who is, in the end, the actual monster?
Okay, so you know this story, because this story is not just a fiction, it's a metaphor with a beating heart. It's about control, illusion, projection, and Tokarczuk. Oh, she doesn't let us look away.
So, in our episode 7, we'll dive in, we'll intercept, we'll unearth, and we want you with us to read it. Sit with us and let your soul get a little tangled.
Yes, and I'm sure you guys, you've got time because it's a short
Hmm.
story. So um, you don't need much time to read, but yeah, you can believe me, it echoes like a cathedral.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Nessie. And it's like, you don't just have to sit down, you could just do your work and play it and listen to it. Only if you're interested in only if you're just like, one of the literary nerds like us. We promise we'll treat it like what it is, a philosophical labyrinth disguised as a freak show.
Yes, and the link to the story is below the recording, so let it exist in your mind. All got a
Mm-hmm.
car to Darkster. Hmm.
Well, yes, Olga Tokarczuk. Let's go with that, shall we? So, Olga Tokarczuk is, a noble laureate. She's literally a myth weaver and a master of metaphysical fictions. She's one of the most visionary voices in contemporary world literature. Well, Olga Tokarczuk was born in 1962 in Poland, and she's not merely a writer but a cartographer of a human psyche, tracing the hidden rivers between dream and waking, myth and modernity, body and soul.
Exactly. Yeah. And her oeuvre defies genre and expectations. So here are just examples because, of course, the whole biography and her works you can search on the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to mention like Primeval and Other Times.
Oh.
Oh, whispers through the metaphysical forests of Polish memory. And so, for example, House of Day, House of Night, bends space and time with hypnotic precision, right? And Flights. So, Flights, winner of the Man Booker International Prize, is a dazzling constellation
Mm-hmm.
of philosophical fragments
Wow.
on motion, morality, and anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead is an eco-noir fable that blends astrology, activism, and murder. I would say, yeah, with Dostoevsky and moral depth. The books of
Mm-hmm.
the of Jacob, the most famous, I suppose, her is a monumental journey into 18th century mysticism, messianic fervor, and the margins of European history. So,
Wow.
Darkster, I must confess, I've read every book Olga Tokarczuk has ever written. If the term crazy fun applies, then yes, yeah, that's precisely who I am. Why? Because,
Yeah.
long before before the global acclaim, I plucked her novel, Primeval and Other Times, from a quiet
Mm-hmm.
library shelf.
Wow.
I was a very young reader, and what
Mm-hmm.
followed was nothing short of an awaking.
Sheesh.
I It was a flabbergasting experience, the kind that alters your literary DNA. The plot,
Wow.
the hypnotic way she conjures her characters, the ethereal descriptions of place, that unmistakable aura, a sophisticated atmosphere thick with myth, memory,
Mm-hmm.
and mystery. And from that moment on, I was spellbound.
Haha. Spellbound. My, Nessie. You are utterly enchanted by the Kotchuk, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't blame you one bit, actually. For me, this is my first dance with all the Tokarczuk's writing, and I'm already captivated. So, coming from a person who has read all the books, I can imagine you are definitely crazy about her. The spell she casts on you, even as a young reader, with Primeval and Other Times plucked from a quiet library shelf. It's no surprise she had the woman in her magic long before the world caught on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no wonder she was crowned with the Nobel Prize in 2018 for her imagination that crosses boundaries like a sacred rite, opening portals for to unknown. And it's the ethereal way she drives into human soul, Nessie. What do you think? Just
Yes, of course. I, yeah, I
and
totally agree with you.
yeah, I know. Exception to her charm. In the ugliest woman in the world, she does it again, Nessie. She does it again, but with a raw, unsettling edge. There is this man in circus impresario, tangled in with obsession with a woman's stark appearance, her ugliness as he sees it. Yet, he is the one trapped, lost in the shadows of his own mind, overwhelmed by choices that haunt him to the very end. And
Mm-hmm.
just that's how Tokarczuk works her magic through all the way. I think showing us how we see others, what it means to be truly human. Her psychological touch, like a whisper from her studies, makes every character a puzzle of light and shadow. What do you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. In Tokarczuk's unsettling, yet profoundly poetic narrative, we are introduced to a man, an
Mm-hmm.
impresario of spectacle. You mentioned this character.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, impresario of spectacle who becomes entranced by the titular ugliest woman in the world. So the story, never explains why he is drawn to her, but it's
Yeah, it
precisely this
never.
lack of clarity that
Mm-hmm.
beckons us towards deeper psychological inquiry. Exactly. And hmm, his desire is not rooted in empathy nor a carnal attraction, but in something more primal, more metaphysical, a confrontation with the grotesque mirror of his own hidden self, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, how do you perceive the main character of the story?
Well, let's say the impresarios. So, he's a lost soul, to put it simply. He's chasing some glimmer of meaning, I think, but he's too haunted by his own fears to grasp it. The coach catches him sneaking glances at the ugliest woman, her needles flushing as he crouches and writes. Okay, Tokarczuk writes, day by day, his disgust was lessening, melting in the sun. It's like he's drawn to her spirit, her wit, her dreams of a quiet life with a house, children, and garden blooming at front. But he can't let her in, not entirely. He cannot, no matter what happens. Then there is a raw, unsettling draw moment where he punches her stomach just because she dared to call out him wandering ways. So
Mm-hmm.
that blowness, it's his fear and frustration spilling over. Her voice, her humanity, forces him to face the emptiness inside of him. The Tokarczuk tells us he was afraid to even touch her, as if her gaze piercing right through him was too
Wait,
much to
wait, wait.
bear.
Even, I'm sorry, you know, even touch her face, especially,
Yeah,
right? Touch her
yeah,
face.
even touch her face. So you can imagine when she just like she just comes up to him and asks him. So he was flustered and he was she caught him in a very vulnerable moment. So
Mm-hmm.
it was too much to bear for him. And there was this scene from the end, even like in her death, he was stunned. Nothing. How much the mattress appears to be sagging beneath them. Like he's only now seeing her weight, her realness. He's tragic, Nessie. To be honest, he's tragic, literally. Yearning for something through her, but always running from what she reveals. Nessie, how does this case turns this ugly woman into sharp something other than a human?
Yes, you said he's tragic. I can agree, and I can even say like he we are all like him. I mean, we can find something, his fear, his desire, his lust in ourselves. Like
Mm-hmm.
this character represents our fear, maybe hidden, hidden lust, hidden thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that. And he sees her and yes, does not. So he witnesses her, but
Mm-hmm.
never truly acknowledges her humanity. So to
Yeah.
him, she is not a woman, but a living manifestation of contradiction, both loathed and longed for, like
Mm-hmm.
a creature to be exhibited, not embraced.
Wow.
And
That's terrible.
wow, you said that, yes, his gaze is dissecting, clinical, yet charged with a fascination bordering on spiritual terror.
Yeah.
She's an object of obsession, but never of love.
Nessie, you're so right. That impresario sees the women as a spectacle, not a soul. But the culture gives us a glimpse of her humanity that he misses.
Mm-hmm.
She's sharp, calling him out on early, and she just like calls him out and says, "Yeah, She says like the ugliest woman says, "You thought my speech would be just as bizarre as and repulsive as my face, didn't you?" She sees right through his judgment, her wit cold cutting like a knife, and then there is her dream. So simple, yet so human. Don't you think it's so simple, Leslie, to have some dream
Mhm.
like she tells him she wants to settle somewhere in the sticks, cook, and they'd have children and just a garden in front of the house? It's heartbreaking, to be
Yes,
honest, right?
it is. It is, yeah. It's what we want to have, like what we dream about,
What we desire.
like a human beings. Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking because while he's caught up in her appearance, she's yearning for life. She's yearning for a
Mm-hmm.
life of a quiet love. To me, she's not a contradiction, but a woman fighting to be seen, her spirit shining through a circus shadow. Nessie, let me ask you, what do you think the narrator's perspective, though?
Yeah, the narrator, all knowing and omnipotent. He allows us to hover above this morally murky terrain, where desire is not desire as we know it, but a ritualized dance of projection. The impresario's obsession, mhm, I think it becomes a grotesque parable of human ego.
I
He
think it
projects
does.
his own monstrous onto her flesh, while carefully hiding from the monster within his own soul. That's what I said. We
Mm-hmm.
all have this monster
Yeah,
deep inside us.
we do. It's about
Yeah,
we can control it or not, right?
yeah, and how vivid it is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So, he does not love her, that's for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Nope, he
But
doesn't.
he uses her, perhaps as a way to distance himself from the darkness that churns inside. That's what I think.
Well, you clearly nailed how the narrator exposes the impresario's twisted heart. I see. To me, the narrator is like a storyteller weaving a haunting tapestry of light and shadow. Uh, it's not just his obsession. The Gotchic's voice drifts between his darkness and her quiet humanity. It's like a fairy tale turned raw. We catch him spying, don't we? It's like you're spying on her, Nessie, and she writes like Tokarczuk. She writes, day by day his disgust was lessening, melting in the sun, showing a flicker of connection. He's too scared to hold her. Then we hear her voice saying, "People are so fragile, so alone," looking at the crowd with a pity he can't find. What wave makes her humanity glow through his gaze, Nessie, urging us to see what he misses really.
Exactly. And and yet, something deeply poetic pulses beneath the surface. In the act of preparing for the child, in the delicate sewing of tiny garments, the woman claims a form of agency. She's no longer merely the object of his disturbed gaze.
Mm-hmm.
You know? In
Yeah.
that sacred anticipation, a new ontology emerges, a
Wow.
reflection on the wild, feral core of human nature. We
Mm-hmm.
are, Tokarczuk suggests, irresistibly drawn to the extraordinary, the malformed, mystical, terrifying, because it disrupts the numbness of
Mm-hmm.
ordinary existence. We
Yeah.
hunger for discomfort as much as for beauty. We chase the grotesque because it reminds us we are alive. And
Yeah.
there will be a quote.
Oh,
Uh,
hello. Finally.
you know, you. You said that, like people are so fragile, so alone. So I want to go to this paragraph and present it here because it's important. It tells some truth about our nature,
Mm-hmm.
what we desire as a people. Okay, you know, she would say, stopping from a moment and fixing her eyes on a single faraway spot. People are so fragile, so alone. I feel sorry for them as they sit there in front of me, staring at my face. It is as if they themselves are empty, as if they have to take a good look at something, fill themselves up with something. Sometimes I think they envy me. At least I am something. You are,
Yeah.
sorry, they are so lacking in anything exceptional, so lacking in any specialness of their own.
Yep. And
That
they're
that
actually
is the
coming here
part
to
of the
see.
ugliest woman in the world. The character. She said like she feel ashamed, like they sit in the front of her and they are, like dissecting her face, her
Mm-hmm.
ugliness. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because they are afraid. Sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
check, like uh they check in a mirror that they are more beautiful, that they are maybe.
Just to satisfy themselves, I believe.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
oh, look, I'm better
That's
than
how we
her.
are, how we compare with others, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. So, what's the literary message for our viewers now that we have come to this essay? I want,
Okay,
yeah,
literary message. Yeah.
yeah,
Ultimately,
for our listeners.
yeah, I think like ultimately the tale evokes a deeply disturbing metaphor. The union of two monsters, one with an ugly face and the other with an ugly soul, and between them a fragile thread of fate, a child, possibility, perhaps even redemption. But the impresario never grasped this. He holds the string, but never the meaning.
Well, you definitely struck a perennial chord, believe me. Our cravings for the strange is like a howl in the void. The crowd flocks to her like their eyes devouring what's wrapped, what's wild, and as if her differences is a balm to their own crooked edges. They stare, their hearts pounding to whisper, I'm not so broken. And yet
Yes,
she's
exactly, exactly. Mm-hmm.
right. And yet she's stitching tiny garments for a child unborn, see their trembling souls with a tenderness they can't spare. It's a vivid ritual. Now see this dance with a grotesque to drown our flaws, to feel pulse of being so no monster, but like a crooked mirror reflecting our hunger for what unsettles us.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Why must we, or those who are listening to us, should read Olga Tokarczuk? What's so special about her?
Why must we read Olga Tokarczuk? Yeah, why? Because her books do not merely tell stories, they unreveal the very threads of human existence. That's why. And narratives are living, breathing organisms. Mystical. I love this word, mystical.
Mystical.
Intellectual and deeply humane. You know,
Mm-hmm.
its work is a portal, I would
Wow.
say, but not to escape reality. It's not about that. It's not about
Oh,
escaping, but to see it more clearly, more tenderly, more truthfully.
well, portals are really
So
to escape, right? That's what I
yeah,
thought.
her
Okay.
her latest novel, The Impusium, A health resort horror story is yet another enigmatic symphony worth surrendering to. Okay, I'll admit, at first I was skeptical. The opening seemed familiar, even predictable, evoking
Hmm.
echoes of Dostoevsky's The Idiot,
That's so scary.
with its railway station, a footstep on the ground, that heavy, expectant stillness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it flirted too with the sanatorium atmosphere of The
Uh-huh.
Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. But just a few pages in, the familiar gave way to the unmistakable. Tokarczuk's voice emerged singular and luminous. The Imposium continues the dramatic constellation she has long been tracing. What is that? It's nature
Mm-hmm.
as a force more ancient and potent than the human mind, the silent yet unbreakable bond between us and the cosmos.
Mm.
Once
Wow.
again, she
Mm.
reminds us with haunting grace we
Yeah.
are not the masters of this earth,
Wow.
but temporary visitors. It's important.
Temporary visitors, huh? Mm.
Hmm.
That's a good,
We are just
good way
guests,
of
you know?
thinking.
Yeah. We are just guests walking on borrowed soil. So there is a reverence in her prose, a quiet command to listen, to honor, to remain humble before what has been given. And as always, Tokarczuk dares to touch what others only skirt around, here the delicate and ardent matter of personal identity. In a world obsessed with definitions, her fiction opens doors to what lies beyond them. She doesn't
Hmm.
offer answers, she offers transformation. That's important.
Wow. I'm saying it again. I'm saying it again. You freaking nailed it.
Thank you.
Why? Yeah, really. Like, why all Tokarczuk's stories grabs us indeed. Grabs us like, to be honest, like, it's like they beg us to bow to the one we overlook. We're not masters of this earth, as he said. We're just guests passing through, and
Uh-huh.
her prose carries this quote call to honor those who didn't fit. Like an ugly woman whose heart grows fiercer than the crowd's cruel stare. It dreams the simple yet deep, and it reminds us we are so all fleeting souls. It's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
bound to the same fragile ground. That reverence in her words, Nessie, it's what makes to read and to be lost in her as she grabs our souls, just like she did of you as a young listener.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about to see with kinder eyes, to hold space for the others, to walk humbly in the borrowed time. Her stories don't just linger, they touch us to live with a gentle heart.
Yes. And always we can consider who we are here,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
We are. Where is our place? And
Yeah.
how we should behave. Okay, I would love to read one paragraph from the first novel written by Olga Tokarczuk. And it's hard to say, which one of her books is an intimate masterpiece for me. But I could say that The Journey of Book People, published in 1993. So, Polish listeners, there we are. Are you ready?
Okay, time for Polish. Let's go.
Każdy człowiek nosi w sobie zaczątki różnych osobowości. Są to jakby niewykiełkowane zalążki zupełnie innych potencjalnych ludzi. Życie rozwija tylko tę, która staje się osobowością nadrzędną, właściwą. Te inne jednak nadal tkwią w człowieku, nawet jeśli niedojrzałe, niepełne, ledwie narysowane, to wciąż bardzo konkretne. Kiedy owa wiodąca osobowość z jakichś przyczyn słabnie, te inne dochodzą do głosu. Stąd bierze się szaleństwo, poczucie opętania, rozbicia. Stąd także bierze się miłość, bo czasem się zdarza, że spotkane w życiu przypadkowo osoby są w zaskakujący sposób do nas podobne, pokrewne nasionom, które nosimy w sobie. Rozpoznanie tych ludzi, dążenie do wciągnięcia ich w swoją orbitę jest właśnie tym, co nazywa się miłością.
So, here we are at the edge of the woods the Tokarczuk built for us, a place where souls wander, nature speaks, and nothing is ever quite what it seems.
Mhm. And if you take one thing from today, remember we are not owners of this earth. We are guests, delicate, fleeting, and deeply entangled in something far greater than ourselves.
Read her, feel her words unfold beneath your fingertips, and when you do, listen closely. The universe is speaking through her, and it's asking us to slow down and see, and maybe to remember.
Mhm. This was the white core of being, reading the Tokarczuk in the dark. Until next time, stay strange, stay tender.